Spiritual law says that you cannot transform what you do not own. So for you to be able to fulfill your multi-venture, ahead of its time, trailblazing, culture-defining vision, you need to own the realm you'll be operating in. Until you own it, you'll be reduced to influence. And influence does not transform, it shifts. And that is way too small for you. Hi, I'm Naomi Olatayo, and I guide founders, creators, and visionaries with multi-venture visions to align their brand universe and ecosystem with the vision God has given them, and I activate the capacity needed in them to govern their respective industries, cultures, and realms. If this video activates you at all, and you recognize that I am the person that is meant to partner with you to bring about your multi-venture vision into full materialization, the first step begins with the internal reckoning, which is linked down below. That is my paid discernment threshold, where I hold space to see which partnership best fits for us, and I get to see if you are ready to be transformed in the processes and the programs that I have available. All of that will be linked down below. Anyways, let's get into today's video. If you've watched my videos at all, then you know that I speak in terms of ventures, industries, business, brand, etc. And they're all relevant. It's just not the whole piece of the pie. I use those words because no one speaks in terms of governance. This is something that I was given to awaken people into. But I speak in more business terms because it's easily recognizable. I can say you have a multi-venture vision, and you can say, oh, okay, so I'm not building a whole bunch of businesses, it's just multi-ventured. I can say you're a multi-hyphenated person, and you can recognize yourself in my words and say, oh yeah, I do a lot and I have a lot and I'm good at a lot. It doesn't mean that I'm scattered, I'm just multi-hyphenated. I use these words for you to locate yourself in my videos, and so that you can recognize me, so that I can relay to you what you need to hear to bring these things about. Because up until recently, you haven't even recognized that what you're building transcends every industry you ever thought that you would dominate. What I'm really saying beneath the surface when I speak in my videos is governance. And governance is the jurisdiction to shape realms. If you haven't watched my governance archetypal system for multi-venture founders, or my realm versus domain video, it may or may not be linked down below, but if you Google it, you'll find it. Sorry about that, sometimes I'll be forgetting. Anyways, the reason why you desire to transform culture, your industry, and systems, the reason why you recognize that what you're building has never been done before, you see yourself as a trailblazer, and the reason why you can never accept the norm of industries and you're constantly dreaming up alternatives and even trying to implement the alternative through your work, is because you've been called to governance. And like I said, governance is the jurisdiction to shape the confinements of a realm, to shape the culture, rules, economy, systems, paradigms, and principles of a realm. Or when you've been called to create a realm in itself. You have the desires that you do for your vision because the systems, the realities that you are currently existing in are too small for you, but also you recognize it is too small for the advancement of the collective. That's why you always seem so combative or contradictory to things that already exist. That's why you're never able to sit in church or in the corporate world or in certain communities, because you recognize where they're contracting instead of expanding. That is your job. The only reason why that you see it is because it's your job to restructure each of those realms. The thing I need you to understand is that your lack of compatibility with these realms, with these systems, with these industries, with these principles, ideas of thoughts, and things alike, your incompatibility with them is not a sign for you to continue to try to pigeonhole yourself further deeper into those spaces. It is a sign that you are meant to shift it. Remember, I started off this video talking about in order to transform a realm, you have to own it. That comes with consequence. If you've been given the jurisdiction to transform a realm or space in such a way as governance, that comes with consequence. I need you to also understand that when I speak of governance, I'm not speaking of an archetype. Although I named my system an archetypal system, that's really just an easier way of translating information over to you. But I need you to understand that that is literally who you are. The same way that you may be an eagle, and the same way that someone else may be a bluebird, they are both birds, but they're fundamentally different within their species, is the same thing that I'm talking about with governance. You may be human and you may be in leadership, or you may be a creative, or you may be whatever, but your makeup is governance, which means that your presence is consequential. Your lack of awareness of your function in the collective is consequential. When you lack governance within yourself, and then you go on to lack ownership of the realm that you critique or that you desire to transform, you, by your nature, destabilize its foundation and atmosphere. For example, if you were a gifted old soul as a child, you probably experienced a lot of jealousy and betrayal from adults. If you're neurodivergent, you experience a lot of social situations where you were othered, ostracized, or scapegoated. Or if you carry a grounded presence and don't seek approval, your boss and other colleagues see you as a threat, even if they are above you in the corporate hierarchy. Why is that? We're all governed by something. We are all in order. Do we see how we have the universe, and then the sky, and then the earth is separated from the waters, and then we see the different species, and then we're all differentiated by name, by family, by cultures, by stories, everything. Those are all forms of governance. We all naturally organize ourselves within an ecosystem. That's what makes this earth so sufficient and orderly. When things are out of order, things start to shake up. For example, we talk about global warming. Order has been mixed. The ozone layer is not holding its weight the way it used to, which shifts the way that we experience Earth. That is a form of governance. And so the examples I gave are relevant because I want you to look at everything as order. When you're somebody who disrupts the order of a thing, what happens? Everything gets disordered. Doesn't matter the intentions or whatever, things get disordered. If we go outside right now and I see a bunch of elephants running up and down the street, or better yet, if I see a bunch of mountain lions and they're not common to the area, that will cause disorder. And the thing is, the mountain lions are just trying to survive. They're not doing anything wrong, but the order is not compatible anymore. So the reason why you may have experienced a lot of ostracization or jealousy from adults, whatever, is because your function, your spirit, most likely outpaced the foundational governance of whatever sphere that you're existing in. So for you, with governance, when you are in the corporate world, when you are in the political world, when you are in the religious world, and you by nature have a higher jurisdiction than the highest leader in that realm, you destabilize it. You don't have to know who they are. They don't have to know who you are. All that matters is that energetically things begin to shift. And if whatever realm that you're here to transform, that you're here to build upon, or even to create something in replace of it, if it's not ready for you, it will shake. It will collapse. Your presence as governor collapses outdated systems, especially if you have been released in jurisdiction to make certain shifts. This is the reason why you've never been able to stay at one job, or if you have been able to stay at one job, you've always been targeted. This is why you felt like God has called you to not work for a while. This is why God has led you away from your hometown. This is why you feel like you've always been separate from the larger system that you feel like you're directly supposed to impact. This is why. The reason why you've been separated is because until you reclaim your seat of governance and you recognize within yourself and you understand that your multi-venture vision is not just something that you are creating to make money for, but something that is literally supposed to rearrange the structure of our reality as a collective, until you are able to claim ownership of a realm. Your presence in that space will always backfire on you, and you will carry the debt of that. Always. I know for me, I have experienced this a lot relationally. The thing about when people come into contact with me and they're not ready to expand into who God has called them to be, they will contract. And that always looks like jealousy. It looks like betrayal. It looks like rejection. And for a long time, I just couldn't understand that. I was like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I'm not doing anything. And I tried so hard to look within myself to see what was wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I had maturing to do, and I wasn't innocent 100% of the time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, and I'm by no means trying to absolve anyone of their wrongdoing. But what I am saying is that when you enter into a space that is not ready for that kind of deconstruction and reconstruction, you will be the problem. How many of y'all have gone to church and you've been kind of spit out of it and treated horribly, and you just couldn't figure out why? How many times has the pastor or some leader, anyone, they really have no reason to be intimidated by you or threatened by you, but they are? This is why. Up until now, no one has said that there's a position of governor. We have pastors, we have presidents, we have leaders, but more often than not, governors that are being raised up now, the governors that God is calling me to wake up now, hold a higher level of jurisdiction and have been entrusted with a higher level of jurisdiction than our present day leaders right now. There are some of you who have been called to completely transform the foundation of politics in America, of government. And you may not even be close in proximity to anyone in that realm, but that's what you've been called to do. I need you to understand is that the world's hierarchy is physical. Jurisdiction is spiritual first, and we are all governed by spirit, and we are all organized by the highest level of jurisdiction. It doesn't matter who you are. That's just how it works. Your multi-venture vision was not just a random idea blob that you have in your mind. The reason why you have so many ideas across industries, across niches, is not because you're supposed to have multiple streams of income. I mean, yes, but that's not our focus. The reason is because you're supposed to have multi-realm, multi-domain jurisdiction. This idea is the blueprint for a whole new way of being for the collective. It is not a small thing. You think that you're just making a skincare brand, and it's not just that. You're literally about to change the way that we receive and interact with our skin forever. And that is important. You're literally about to change the story of a whole generation of people through your skincare. You think that you're just supposed to have a clothing line, but you don't even realize that you're literally about to change the standard of employeeship forever, where the principle of extraction that we've been relying on is no more. You think that you just want to be an actor. You think that you just want to be a CIA agent. No, it is not just that. All together, the conglomerate of your multi-venture, multi-industry vision is the function of your governance, and it is no small thing. If you have found yourself in my words, if you feel recognized by me, if you're saying to yourself, this is literally what I've been trying to articulate forever, but I haven't had the words, I need you to make a decision. I created something called the internal reckoning as a threshold into my world. There are two ways to interact with this. The first way is to recognize yourself for who you are within your function and within your identity, and decide right now that there can be nothing but alignment with this vision and identity that God has revealed to me. And after you've made that decision, if it is aligned with you, there is a paid threshold linked in the description, which will give you access to me and for my discernment to see the best way for us to partner together to bring about your multi-venture vision. This link is for those who already recognize immediately that I am the person and I am a non-negotiable addition to the materialization of this vision, and you recognize that you can't do it without me. If that is you, click the link in the description down below so that we can begin our conversation about our partnership. And if that is not you, then I need you to not leave without making a decision. And again, I mean, I guess you could leave. I don't know. I'm not gonna hold you hostage. That's not my job. But my job is really to just propose you with the decision that you're at. You don't come across my videos for no reason. You're not receiving from me for no reason. It is not a casual thing to come across my words. And I would like to present to you the opportunity to make that decision and that choice, to fully step into the fullness of who you've already been, but except this time with intentionality and consciousness, conviction and commitment. Anyways, I thank you for stopping by for this video. Don't forget to click the link in the description to begin our process of partnership. And I will see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe so you can receive more of these videos which are up and coming. Bye.